Hi, I'm Aarushi Bafna. I'm an architect by degree and a designer by choice. I've been born and brought up in Jaipur. Since childhood, I've seen a lot of work in craftsmanship and things like that. That's where I developed my interest in designing. So I took up architecture. I was studying in Bombay for like 5 years. I was doing this visual merchandising project with like the small store here in Jaipur. So for that we had made like stainless steel dolls, like somewhat like this, which had like a flat body, but the stomach was kind of looped to make space for like things to be put. So this particular loop is also inspired by this game in childhood that we used to play to join the dots without picking up the pencil. So in the same way, I wanted to turn the entire wire into a piece without like cutting it anywhere. So it's like one single wire bent into one piece.
I like the idea of free-flowing material to decide the utility of it.
Right.
So that kind of gives the direction to the product on its own kind of way, right?
So if we just start off with your initial idea, that it's a rainy day furniture for outdoors.
Yeah.
What kind of collection? Like there would be a coffee table, a kind of a couple of seatings, or multiple seatings, a bench,
Yeah,
a table.
like probably a coffee table and 2 benches, or like 2 chairs and a coffee table.
Yeah.
Or a light. Maybe we can do like a hanging light over the coffee table and a chair.
Just define what do you mean by rainy day collection. So just define that.
Like anything that would get wet and dry on itself. Like you don't have
Fantastic. So that is a good definition of rainy day collection.
Yeah, and I think the idea of adding utility, it also challenges the existing designs of outdoor furniture.
Right. I sense a very nice play of hard and soft. So visual perception is hard of this sheet metal, but when you sit on it, it gives that cushioning effect. So that brings in the surprise element as well.
Yeah.
And I feel that would be interesting.
Meeting with them was really helpful. About materiality, of course, they have a lot of knowledge about that. So they told me like, how many different types of steels are present and what kind of steel should be used and how should I explore different materials for like the top or the bottom of the legs and things like that. So the next step is to first freeze what all prototypes I want. This material is so fragile and at the same time difficult to bend. Probably the idea of how it will take weight worries me. I'm optimistic I'll be able to give a complete prototype by 15th of December.
Initially, I was a little skeptical about the design and all, but eventually, the way she explained things, I think there is a good potential to come up with a new category of products. I like the thing she mentioned about rainy day collection.
I like the thought process of how this is coming out to be. I was just wondering how to add more utility to it, and she can do a fair enough job. That is what we have kind of discussed already.
So I've come today with a one-on-one sketch of my first design and I've come to my vendor's workshop to discuss it and start prototyping. As per our discussion, I've seen how the process is going to go, the bending, the welding and other things. So I've just met my vendor and I've seen the piece, but the concept has gone for a toss because of the welding below. So I've told him a few changes and I'm hoping that would work. So we'll be starting with the next prototype. Gopal and Henry are here. They are my mentors. They are here to resolve whatever issues we had in the previous prototype. And hopefully we'll move ahead and have a clarity on what is to be done next. In this piece, the problem was when you put 4 legs.
Right.
So then you get this edge hole, right?
Yeah.
Where there's nothing to like
Yeah.
interlock it.
Yeah.
So then these joints here were hanging, which was like,
So what if these come at the corner?
yeah, so basically the piece that you've held was like this. It was,
Exactly. But I'm just saying.
he wanted to spot weld it. And
Right. But you don't make it so obvious that you're spot welding it.
So the problem is this is not stable enough.
Can this entire thing, instead of being a square, just be a long coffee table? Right? Let's just finish the task in one go. And I think all you need right now is to make proper AutoCAD drawings for the cut, and then figure out this thing, then go to the router, like make a day-to-day plan on what you're trying to do over here, because we are short on timeline.
At the stage where you're finishing up the refining process of design, and so that's equally about making it better, but also, you know, with refining, you know, you're actually kind of making it simpler.
The better part of this is that she's been very accepting of what we are talking, so the conversation becomes more and more passionate.
It was a very interesting conversation about the product and a very good discussion to how to move forward, how to make it more viable for commercial use as well. I'm hopeful it'll work and it's exciting, but at the same time I'm scared. What if it doesn't? Then we are back to square one, so let's see. So I've come to Godrej a couple of days back to rework on the design because the prototype that we had gotten in wasn't finished properly. So initially the loop was happening from like one end of the floor to the other end of the floor and then in traversal direction. But now we've made it spring-like. The furniture before was looking very voluminous. So now we've tried to kind of reduce the number of legs that are coming to the ground, or keeping in balance the amount of weight that it's taking from the top. And there was a vibration movement happening with the stainless steel because there was no cross connection. So now with the new design of the crossed legs, even the vibration movement is reduced. I think they've done a pretty good job here at Godrej, how they've pushed, say, a 15 days work into a 7 days job. Entire mentoring process and the entire process where I physically get to make the piece myself, I think it's the biggest takeaway. And I think it's a very big thing for me to like showcase my design in the country. It gives people opportunities to make mistakes. So it feels really good to see the final product being appreciated at such a level and to see all the hard work that went in past 3 months. I think it's very enduring for me to get perspective from different people who are visiting the exhibit. Getting a very good feedback, people are excited on how it can be used. I think the multifunctionality of the product itself is what exciting the people more. I think most of the responses I got was that people are very happy how I've used the material to create these spaces which give them a lot of area to play with.
Aarushi's loop furniture is really, really nice because it also subscribes to another initiative that we've got going on at GNB, saying how can we create pieces of furniture, objects, a lot of the stuff that we manufacture in a highly iterative way. So using modern manufacturing, so using CNC tube bending, using lots of laser cutting, using robotic processes, how can we make interesting and exciting pieces of furniture quickly? And so that is almost perfectly suited to it, because if you imagine like a yarn or a thread kind of traveling through space in 3 dimensions, you're essentially creating it from a very, very straight tube. So it's beautiful in its simplicity and also in how many things you can do with it, how far you can take it.
You have the bench, so this bench, which is really what I call design because you can use it in so many ways. It's aesthetic, simple, functional. I really like it.
I just love them. So unique and they're quite inspiring.
The high point for me throughout GDL and even after it is the idea that of experimentation at every step. I mean, it's not like you design it and it's there, you know. So I think that's what I learned from GDL.